Hey, hello, welcome back to Of Land and Leaf. On this channel, I'm making huge changes through small scale gardening. I'm going to make a video about what some of those huge changes are, but today I'm at the garden weeding. I literally just came to weed. We had a plant sale at our community garden this morning, and so I didn't come because I wasn't buying any plants. I'm really challenging myself to grow everything from seed this year. I waited until the end of the day because I figured most people would come to the plant sale and then they'd hang out and work on their gardens. And I really like to be up here alone. I like to be up here by myself, which is really hard to do when you have a massive community garden. But it actually worked out. There's no one here. So I'm just doing some weeding. But I thought that I would make a little bit of content to answer some questions that you might have about community gardening. Maybe you're thinking about getting your own community garden plot, and I just wanted to share like 3 pros and cons, quick video, 3 pros and cons of having a community garden. So I wrote some words down so that I could remember what to share with you, and I'll start with the pros. And for me, the big deciding factor in getting the community garden was space. Space is one of the big pros. I am not able to have a garden in my townhouse community. The HOA rules do not allow for me to have anything in ground, and I'm slightly limited on what I can do in pots as well. Having a community garden plot allows me to grow more, and it allows me to grow in a way that I feel comfortable. People have so many ways that they grow in small spaces. I've learned about hydroponics, and people are growing vertically on their decks and patios, and there's all kinds of ways. So this isn't the only way, but for me, I really enjoy the idea of having a plot of land. So having the space is a big pro for me. Another pro to gardening in a community garden space is just having access to tools and resources. So we have a shed that has a lot of tools in it. You saw me on one video using the T-pole driver. That's like $100 in the store, and it didn't work for me. So being able to use one and try it here was really great. It allowed me to see that that's not a tool that I want to invest in. But we have so many tools that as a gardener, slowly you would buy, and I just have access to them all at one time, which is great for me. Another pro of gardening in a community garden is the community. A lot of the people that I garden with, most of the people that garden with me have been gardening a lot longer than me. There is a wealth of knowledge out here, so many resources. My neighbors have been gardening for decades. They have all the tricks. They can help me. As much as I want to be helped, I can also just, not accept that help as well. So people are, they're courteous. They ask you if you want some advice, or if you want their opinions, or if you want their thoughts. And if you do, they will share them with you. And I've really appreciated that. Now, I have gone against some of the advice that people have given me. Like last year, people told me, you got started late. I didn't get here until June. And then I had to clean the plot up. I had to weed. I had to work on the plot because it had been abandoned. So I didn't start really planting until July. And people were telling me, oh, it's too late for most of the things that you're trying. It's too late to get corn in. It's too late to get watermelon in. It's too late to do your sweet potatoes, because I started my sweet potatoes late. And I just did everything that I wanted to do. And I figured if it didn't work out, that would be a lesson. And I would know that for myself. I've always been hard-headed in that way. I learn better by seeing for myself. So I don't always listen, but at least I have the warnings and the knowledge. Also, the earth is changing. And so the way that they experienced Georgia 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, is not the same way as we're experiencing it now. So when you're telling me that it's too late, but then our zones were just updated, I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of room to continue to learn. You don't just learn once and know. So I appreciate having the knowledge, and I also appreciate using my own discernment to determine what I'm going to listen to and what I'm not going to listen to. Now let's get into some of the cons. One of the big cons is just the fact that it's not on site. So I literally have to get in my car and drive 12 to 15 minutes to pull weeds out of a garden, right? I'm not just slipping outside and doing a little bit, then coming in and doing something else. I have to make a conscious effort to get up and go pull weeds, which leads me to con number 2, and that is the rules and regulations. So this particular community garden, they're pretty much a stickler for weeds. And this is my second community garden space that I've been in. The first one was not as large and I wanted a larger plot, so it was in a different city. I really enjoyed it, but it was small. This one is large, it's huge, but it has its rules just like any community space, and they are a stickler on weeds. Imagine having a 20 by 20 plot. Imagine growing 8 to 10 crops and not having weeds. It's like almost impossible, especially if you work or you have a family or you have other responsibilities or obligations. If I was retired and I could come out here every day and be out here hours at a time, then maybe I wouldn't. But I've had my share of mornings, even with starting in the summer. A couple of months in, someone emailed me at like 10 o'clock at night and was like, hey, we walked past your plot and there were weeds. And I was like, you know, it's a little deflating to get that type of feedback, but I understand maintaining some kind of standard. But there are rules and restrictions. You can't just do anything that you want to do. There's a lot of freedom, but you can't do any and everything that you want to do. And even though I might be lax, like I'm saying, I'll pull weeds, I don't want my crops to suffer, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to be a weed fanatic. I don't have a choice. I have to, because they are a stickler on the weeds. So there's those rules and restrictions. And I would say a third con, because there are more pros and there are more cons, but the 3 that I wanted to bring you today, the third con would be cost. You know, it's not like I'm walking out into my own backyard. I am paying, so there is a fee to be here. This particular community garden, the plot that I have is $65 per year. And I just feel like, you know, if I divide that by 12 and I really grow produce that I would normally buy, especially starting from seed, I make that money right back. I could have made that on a couple of watermelon last year because I grew these huge watermelon and people were like, I will pay you 10, 15 bucks for a really good, juicy, seeded watermelon, organically grown. So you can make the money back, but you do need to be aware of the fact that there are costs associated with working in a community space. All in all, I love the experience here. There are pros and cons to everything in life. There are pros and cons to tearing up your own backyard or front yard to make a garden. So I just wanted to share this for anyone who's thinking about renting a community garden space. I think it's an excellent way to expand, to meet new people with similar interests, and to learn in a fairly inexpensive manner. But you just need to be aware of some of the rules, restrictions, and regulations that go with that. All right, I'm going to get back to weeding. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you're in a community garden space, leave a comment below. If you're thinking about renting a community garden space and you have any questions, leave a comment below. I would love to start interacting and answering some of your questions, so please feel free to leave a comment. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.